Sushant Sareen, is that also a geostrategic signal that India is sending out, choosing the French fighter jets, as some argue, over the FA-18 Super Hornets that the Americans were offering? Or are these decisions purely on the capability of the aircraft and no larger geostrategic signal there?
No, I think there's always a geostrategic signal out there. But I think what Air Marshal Kapoor is talking about is also a very, very important consideration. At a time when you're talking about, integrating the forces, talking about joint commands, theater commands, to have different airlines or different aircraft for different operations, it doesn't make sense. And the Air Marshal very correctly says that, you bring all that jointness in, the common logistics change, common training, all of it, bulk of it is the same. So there is economy in it, there is greater interoperability in it. And the fact is that, once you have this kind of setup, and this is not probably the end of acquisitions of Rafales. We probably might be going in for more. So the complexities which were involved in maintaining different kinds of aircraft, 20 of this, 30 of something else, that goes out. Secondly, I think the Rafale is a very dependable aircraft. It's a competent aircraft. Is it the best? Perhaps not. But I think it's competent for the job it is required for. And to that extent, it works for us.
Let me take that. Okay, let me take that to our two aviators on this broadcast. Admiral Sinha, was Rafale the best option for the Indian Navy? And I'll come to the Air Marshal for the Air Force in just a moment. What tipped the scales in favor of the Rafale Marines in your appreciation, sir?
Gaurav, at this point in time, Rafale is the best option for the reasons which Air Marshal Kapoor mentioned and what Sushant has just mentioned. In addition, the big thing is that it is about 4.5 generation aircraft. It is ahead of the F-18 in many ways. I have had the good fortune of flying both of them, not many sorties, but few sorties. And I think that the technology advancement in the Rafale is way ahead of the F-18. And F-18 is slowly is going to go away from service very soon, and they're getting into the F-35 mode. So I think that at the moment, at this point in time, this is the best option that we have. I know that you will probably be talking about the Russian option that that can happen. But on the aircraft carrier that we have, the Navy tried out both the F-18 and the Rafale in the shore-based test facility at Goa. And they have come to this conclusion that Rafale, as far as the fitment into the aircraft carrier is concerned, and the operational QRs, as they call it, NSQRs or ASQRs, the Air Force calls it, it fits into fits into that very well. And there is not 80%. I am told there's a 90% commonality between these two. Also important to remember that Rafale was actually designed as a marine aircraft first. It started flying from the aircraft carrier, and on the sidelines, it was also being tried for a shore-based operation. So I think that, the basic design, we don't have to worry too much, just like the MiG-29K, where we became a trial platform because the Russians didn't fly that aircraft in that manner. And therefore, we have had a lot of maintenance problems, as we have come on your program earlier. And I think that at the moment, for next 4, 5, 6 years, Rafale is the best option for the Indian Navy or for the government.
Which then brings me to the point, sir. Air Marshal Kapoor, and Admiral Sinha, I also want you to weigh in on it after him. Air Marshal Kapoor, had we negotiated the price of Rafales for the Indian Air Force and then the Indian Navy, and perhaps, as Sushant Sareen was also mentioning, it's one of the contenders for the additional 114 aircraft that the Indian Air Force is looking at. Had we negotiated the prices of all of them together, wouldn't we have done a better job getting better prices, better maintenance, and overall a better deal for India?
See, you have a point there, but the gap is increasing too fast and too discomfort for us. Because on one hand, the Harriers have gone, the serviceability of MiG-29 is in question. The government-to-government negotiations and this thing is prolonged. Now, looking at India's point of view, we may like to go in for a C295 kind of a model, wherein we fill up for the Air Force in stopgap off the shelf certain aircrafts. Even if we order today, Gaurav, it is going to take 4 to 5 years these Rafales, which the deal would be signed, you would know better in this month when the French foreign minister comes to India, will seek delivery from not earlier than 2029. So if we wait for 114 Air Force aircrafts also to be negotiated, this thing, so the production line and the waiting period further. So this, with the Chinese moving into IOR region, and like what Admiral Sinha just mentioned, and he is of course a strategic thinker, the neighbor is not going to wait for us to negotiate with friends. So whatever we have got is at least a very big deterrent, and it will be operational on both the aircraft carriers.